The book of Revelation, commonly known as the Apocalypse, is the final book of the New Testament and the most relevant in the present-day scenario. The author named himself as John in the text, but his precise identity remains a mystery. His revelation was not meant to refer to actual people or events, but has turned out to be an allegory of the spiritual path and the ongoing struggle between good and evil in our contemporary world. The most prominent part of this prophetic work is chapter 13, in which John recorded visions of two monsters. The first beast, which rose up out of the sea, had 7 heads and 10 horns. It embodies the evils of humanity, and more specifically, a secretive power group conspiring to rule the world through an authoritarian global government. The sea represents the deepest recesses of the human mind, while the multiple heads and horns symbolize the frightening collusion of powerful people pursuing a self-aggrandizing hidden agenda. The second beast, which came up out of the earth, had 2 horns like a ram, but spoke like a dragon. It symbolizes propaganda and coercive persuasion that hail a global reset for the ultimate empowerment of a small elite at the expense of the masses. The earth stands for mundanity and shallowness, and is therefore associated with demagoguery and decadence. The creature from the earth looks quite reassuring, given its deceptive lamb-like appearance. Its 2 horns are the emblem of religion and politics. The earth beast causes all people to receive an identification mark in their right hand or in their forehead, corresponding to the number 666, or alternatively, 616. This mark of the beast, required for any financial transaction, is described as a personal identity code replacing each citizen's name like a social security number. But in this day and age, it may even refer to an actual device, such as a microchip implant. In ancient cultures, the number 6 symbolized the earthly realm, material wealth, and secular power. King Solomon was said to receive 666 talents of gold every year, which allowed him to extend his authority over every tribe in the Levant. However, that also forced him to contend with several enemies and eventually led him to ruin. In Chinese culture, the number 6, which is called Liu, is regarded as a lucky number, as it is nearly homophonous with Liu, which translates to progress, endurance, and steadiness. However, in certain contexts, the same word may be linked to corruption, abortion, bloodshed, epidemics, and tumors. In ancient China, Liu Bu were the 6 ministries that controlled the country, namely that of personnel, rights, war, justice, works, and revenue. In Taoism, Liuyin are the 6 external factors which cause disease and calamities, namely dangerous wind, humidity, cold, heat, dryness, and fire. The following is Revelation chapter 13, from verse 8 to verse 18. The beast from the sea was allowed to make war on the saints and to conquer them. And authority was given it over every tribe and people and language and nation. All who dwell on earth will worship it, even those whose names are not written in the Lamb's book of life. If anyone has an ear, let him hear. If anyone is to be taken captive, to captivity he goes. If anyone is to be slain with the sword must he be slain. Here is a call for the endurance and faith of the saints. Then another beast rose out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, and it spoke like a dragon. It exercises all the authority of the first beast in its presence, and makes the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, whose mortal wound was healed. It performs great signs, even making fire come down from heaven to earth in front of people. By the signs that it is allowed to work in the presence of the first beast, it deceives those who dwell on earth, telling them to make an image for the beast that was wounded by the sword and yet lived. And it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who would not worship it to be slain. Also, it causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark, that is, the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding reckon with the number of the beast, for it is the number of each man. This number is 666.